Okie dokie. Good evening, folks. A bit of my white mark on me. Yeah. And welcome back once again. Let me get my camera sorted here. My screens, they're all a bit higgledy-piggledy. And welcome back once again to Suzerain. I'm in the mood to ruin a country this evening. Because that's what we're going to end up doing, I'm telling you. We're going to ruin this place. Right, anyway. How are we all this fine Sunday? So, I went out yesterday for lunch. All you can eat affair, meat feast. And I didn't eat anything afterwards, I was so full. But streamed Baldur's Gate 3. So after Baldur's Gate 3, I had a slight little bit of a snack. And then today, going out for lunch again. I was like, oh, for God's sake. But I was really good. It was really good. We went to Wetherspoons in Harrogate, which is in the old Royal Baths building. Now, Wetherspoons are quite renowned for buying like really unique buildings and turning them obviously into a pub. Now this place, bloody hell, the architecture of it is absolutely fantastic. But anyway, so I was very good. I was scanning the menu for something that I fancied that tasted nice, but that wasn't going to be 1,500 calories because a lot of the stuff is quite unhealthy. Fried, you know, cheese sauces and all the rest of the unhealthy stuff. Anyway, I managed to find something that I thought, oh, that's not bad, because I skipped breakfast because I got up late because I went to bed at 4:30. Why? Because I was starting a Baldur's Gate 3 solo run with a character. So I thought, I'll try that. Anyway, 4:30 in the morning, I'm like, oh, better go to bed. So I was up late, so I missed breakfast. And then I ended up having a chicken strip burger. So it's basically two of their southern fried chicken strips in quite a small brioche bun thing. I had a bit of extra cheese on it, but just with a bit of lettuce and mayo. Perfectly how I like my burger. Not too much gumph. Bit of cheese, bit of mayo, just the burger. Not, you know, tomato and lashings of lettuce. Not for me, thanks. Just a little bit of lettuce, lots of mayo, cheese, burger, happy. And then I washed that down with roasted veg. Ordered some roasted veg so that I could have first to open the meal. You know, a bit of fibre in the stomach. And then I thought, oh, chips. Oh no, chips are very unhealthy, especially Wetherspoons chips. Jesus, 1,000 calories for a bowl of chips. I don't know what they fry their chips in, but very unhealthy. So I had onion rings instead. So I had a chicken strip burger with onion rings and roasted veg, which was only 900 calories. Now, considering that was breakfast and lunch combined, not bad at all. So very happy with that. And then I went to play football today. So yes, football, Cham, you asked how was football. Football was very, was average actually. We won 5-2, but we didn't play that well. It was the quality that shone through in the end, but in terms of performance, it was a bit not very good. I had to shout a couple of times at people who were messing about, making stupid passes, and I was losing my temper. But we managed to win 5-2. So yeah, I got a bit of a run out, got some exercise in. So here we are, ready to finish off the day with some politicking. So anyway, good evening to you all. Pete, welcome. Joker Nagisa's here. Disco Elysium music style. I started playing a Disco Elysium again. I mentioned it in a streams gone by, and I just can't play any game I try to play off camera. It just ends up being start with the best of intentions, but just never get there. Martian Eyes, welcome. You are here on time. So am I. Well, I was a little bit late. I'll tell you why, and then we'll start playing. Oliver, welcome to you too. Chris, no dice rolls involved. You're safe today, Chris. Welcome. And Crazy Canuck, welcome to you too. I'll read as much lore as I possibly can as we're going through. Anyway, so this is bad. I've just been talking to you about how I've had a really good day, tried to remain healthy, simply because Friday was a cheat day, yesterday was a hellacious day, so I thought I'd better have a good Sunday. And that's why I had as healthy a meal as I possibly could in Wetherspoons. And I just sat here and I thought to myself, in the grand scheme of things, a Bailey's won't harm, will it? Let's be honest. So I couldn't help myself, because I had a Bailey's yesterday, and I was like, oh, I quite enjoyed that. Just one Bailey's, a bit of ice. Get the appetite going for dinner later. Alternatively, I could drown the sorrows if we end up destroying Sordland. So there we go. So that's why I'm a little bit late, because I got my glass ready, put the ice in it, started chatting to my mum about something, and then I came upstairs, sat down, ready to hit go at bang on 8 o'clock, and then I realised, oh hang on, I've come upstairs with a glass and ice. Forgot to pour the Baileys in it. So to go back downstairs, get the Baileys, then come back up again. That's why I was a couple of minutes late. Hank, good evening to you, sir. Welcome. So what I'm going to do is just going to give you a striptease, is what I'm going to do. Destroying Sordland isn't even the worst outcome. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, I'm stripping off now, okay. Stripping off. Right. Not completely. I'll just open the dressing gown a bit. Let some air in here. The slippers will be off shortly. Right. Okay. So I've loaded the game up, and hang on. I'm debating whether I should be playing football on Wednesday or not. I don't think so. I think we'll give Wednesday a miss from football this week, because I played Wednesday last week. All went perfectly fine. But I think I'm going to have a breather and stream instead. About that. Right, anyway. Off camera on this game, I also started another playthrough, which then petered out, obviously. Like all my single player playthroughs. I try. The only game I seem to be able to play for any extended period of time off camera is Football Manager. I've tried in many a game. I play it a little bit and then I'm just like, oh, I'm bored now. Bored. No one to talk to. But Baldur's Gate 3, and I will start playing after this. I have started a single player playthrough. Solo character. Barbarian. It's got to be Barbarian. I quite like the Barbarian class in Baldur's Gate 3. So yeah, I'm playing as a Barbarian. Evil. Nasty. Greedy. And I'm trying to see how feasible it is to play the game with just one character. You know, no parties involved, just the one character, soloing it. It's really interesting. It's actually really good fun. Really good fun. I mean, I'm playing on the lowest difficulty, because I thought if it's a solo campaign, I'll try it on easy first and see how feasible it is, and then we'll ramp it up if necessary. But yeah, I've now played for 8 hours. And we're already at the Goblin Blighted Village. Off to play God of War. Oh, that's nice, isn't it, Cham? You go enjoy God of War, Cham. Enjoy yourself. At least you're being honest. Have a good one. That's a game that I still intend to play at some point. I have got a PlayStation 5, and I did get God of War downloaded onto the hard drive for free before I unplugged it all and took my PlayStation out when I went on holiday 2 years ago, and I've never plugged it in since. But anyway, let's crack on. Right, so here we are. I was just off camera. I loaded the game up thinking, where did I leave off last time? And read some of the blurbs, some of the reports. So, and none of them rung a bell. So I think we must have ended literally bang on where I just loaded it. So I'll just quickly take you through a couple of reports that I read off camera. So they don't appear to be in order anymore. What's happened here? Okay, so this was one of them. Rise of Golkondism. in the rural areas of Berger, which is down here. Don't forget Berger, special zone, all that kind of jazz. Lots of people from other countries, lots of the Bluedish community down there. So basically, Golkondism, a minor religious branch of the Ruhasisnurity, has gained a significant following in the city of Suzerain and the rural areas of Berger, mainly due to limited access to education and employment. The sect offers a sense of community purpose and salvation through strict adherence to its doctrines. So we can also get a bit more of an insight. It's a fundamentalist and extremist branch, which is always nice, isn't it? There you go. Read at your leisure. I'm not going to read this because it's religion. And you know me in religion, no matter what the game is, unless it's Holy Fury. And my name is Johan Johansson. Other than that, we don't do religion in any game. But anyway, so yeah, Bluedish Freedom Front and foreign proselytizers are suspected to be behind the sudden increase in Golkondism. Many Bluedish political leaders are recruiting members through grassroots campaigns, making Golkondism one of the most popular religious groups in the region. Officials fear that the sect's strict rules and practices may lead to social unrest, warranting further investigation and the development of strategies in collaboration with local community leaders to address the situation. One of the many issues that we've got going on here, so that's Golkondism. This was also hot off the press. Arcasia developing an intercontinental ballistic missile, with its estimated strike range spanning thousands of kilometres. Major leap in military tech. Its precision targeting system allows for the destruction of targets at long distances, thereby escalating the potential threat Arcasia poses to territories. So in my single player playthrough that I'm playing, I'm playing a similar style, but I've gone for free market economy, and I've allied with Arcasia. So once I finish playing this, I might see if I can get that second playthrough done. At the end of March, I believe it is, the DLC's coming out. So by the time I finish playing this, we might be in time to be able to play the Rizia DLC actually straight after this, which would be quite cool. Playing as a monarch, could be good. So I'm aiming to finish this before that comes out. Sordland at capacity. Okay, there was another piece of news that was worth looking at. Now, where is it? It was this one. So you got Arcasia, whatever they're called, America. Kind of like America. And you've got United Contana, like Russia, apparently. And United Contana Consulate are helping protesters. Around midnight, Red Youth protesters clashed with young swords at the V-Sword city centre, resulting in many injuries. The counter-protesters were cornered in front of the United Contana Consulate after they were pushed back by the police. The diplomatic mission opened its doors and Red Youth members escaped inside. The police are still waiting outside the building for the return of Red Youth members. Now don't forget, we were part of the Red Youth, I think, weren't we? In a bygone era. Maybe we should use that to our advantage. Listen, I was once a Red Youth, and this never happened in my day. Anyway, V-Sword is a great location for camping, fishing and jogging. Now, where is V-Sword? Where is V-Sword? Go to location. It's in Lauren. Ah, there we go. Oh, V-Sword. Isn't this the... Oh, this is the heavily forested area. Ah, it's all coming back to me. Yes. Yes. Forest survival lessons, peaceful, quiet, nature, all that kind of jazz has been ruined by protests. Anyway, speaking of protests, if you look at a lot of the city information, widespread protests. Let's click on Gelsord. Oh, protests haven't reached Gelsord apparently. Sarna? Haven't reached Sarna. Literally every settlement I clicked on before the stream started seemed to have a situation going on with widespread protests. Widespread protests. Widespread protests. Avery? Widespread protests. Yeah. The country is in a state of widespread protest. This is like when we had it over in England or the UK or whatever, way back in like 2013, 2012 maybe. And we had that bit of civil unrest happen. I think a big department store got burnt down or set on fire. I think it was Birmingham or Nottingham way. And that kind of kicked stuff off. I think it kicked off because of some incident down south. And then all cities, well, a lot of cities jumped on the bandwagon and started to kick up a bit of fuss. What are they protesting? They're protesting the right to protest. I don't bloody know. We better be on. We don't care, because we're off for dinner. Who gives a crap? We're off for dinner. We don't give a crap what's happening in the country. Has Holsword got widespread protests? Oh, it has. That's a bit of a shame. Oops. Right. Okay, we're going to read the news and then we're going to go and have lunch. Go have dinner with the family. Must be quite a burden being the head of a country and all this is going off. You know, protests, civil unrest, foreign superpowers meddling in your affairs. How can you sit down with your family and have a lovely meal? Because surely your mind is not on your roast dinner. Yeah? You're sitting eating your lamb. Love a bit of lamb, of course. Lamb and mint sauce. You seem a bit down today, darling. Well, wouldn't you be? This has gone wrong. Somebody's died. That, blah, blah, blah. Of course I've got things on my mind. And that's when you end up with a situation where your marriage breaks down and then it all goes to pot. Just in case any of you got any ideas of running a country, just so I thought I'd prepare you about what you get yourself in for here. Okay. Right, that's all football matter. To the news! Sordland today. Rumours of an infrastructure project. Anonymous sources have reported to Sordland today that several government officials have invited construction companies to meetings regarding a new major infrastructure project. Okay. Great news, apparently. We hope that very qualified and experienced companies like Underhall Construction win the bid. Hire a poison taster. Hire a cupbearer. Take it right back to medieval style. Excuse me. What was our son called? Can't remember my son's name here. Excuse me. Peter's our best mate, right? What was our son called? Sure it begun with a D. D? Frank, F. Frank, that's good. Good memory, Ollie. Frank, come here. Taste this. Tastes delicious. Give it 5 before I start eating it. Who are these people? Underhall Construction. The real estate giant is owned by the Mayor of Conriat. Where's Conriat? Oh, right next to Holsword. Okay. Chris Shah. Most people in Sordland know the name Underhall Construction by the many iconic buildings that they have constructed in nearly all major cities. Recently, the company sold half of the shares to this business magnate, of course, whose name crops up a lot, and I have a sneaking suspicion maybe a thorn in our side if we don't keep him sweet, Walter Tusk. While this breached certain competition clauses, it was largely ignored. Underhall is a gigantic real estate company that is very influential in construction projects of the private sector. Some of their recent work is the Holsword Central Station, which they have completed on time, but violated workers' rights in the process. Now, there's a pickle, isn't it? There's a pickle. Might get them slightly cheaper, but because we're working their workers to the bone here, We shall bear this in mind when we're considering the contracts, because we were told that we could consider the contracts of the construction companies when it comes to building this highway. Interesting. Fat bald man with monocle. How right am I? Let's have a look. I've seen this picture before. Okay. I mean, it looks like he could have a monocle. The moustache is a big no-no. But there you go. Does he look how you imagined? It's the Godfather. Yes, that's what we shall call Walter from now on, the Godfather. Right, Economist. Underhaul construction once again. Oh, underhaul construction in the press again here. Picked again as the #1 construction company of the year by the reputable statistics Sordland. 11th time the company was selected for the top spot in a row since Chris Shah was appointed as the CEO. Veteran industry leader Shah congratulated the employees first and foremost in a private company meeting held in the luxurious resort in Erleroy. Trying to always remember where these cities are. I did read all the cities when I was doing my private playthrough, but that was a week ago now. Erleroy. Where's Erleroy? Luxurious resort. It's in the capital area. Interesting fact, this little island here is where Sol is residing. Tarquin Sol. He's on this little island, Duru Island. This is where his little private residence is. Okay. He mentioned the recent addition of Heart of Sordland organisation CEO Marcel Koronti to the board of advisors. Now, we're meeting this Koronti fella at some point, aren't we? So they're all intermingling, all these kind of business people. At The Economists, we think now is a great time to invest in underhaul construction, as the current year's projection already shows a 13% increase in growth compared to the last year. I feel like the press are trying to push us towards picking this company somehow. The Lashaman Times. Gang violence claims young girl's life. A 15-year-old girl was shot to death in Narbel as she walked her dog a few blocks away from her apartment. A reckless act of violence with the victim not the intended target. Oh, no, we can't have 15-year-old kids essentially shot dead in the street. This is ridiculous. The shooters yelled gang slogans on the street before he heard someone fire at least 10 shots. The local police force is understaffed and overworked. Yes, we did in fact witness a girl being flattened by a tank. Yes, probably brings back some horrible memories. The Radical. 1927? Never again. I was there when General Luderin and Ricard clashed in the plains outside of Holsord, when the armies of Swordish people killed each other. I was there when Colonel Saul won the war after bombarding cities with Swordish civilians inside them. We saw this great nation fall into bloodshed and chaos. We thought that we learned our lesson and formed a new republic, but one man's idea became the idea of the state, and we allowed it to be forced upon us. We were a generation who lived with Tarquin Sol for most of their lives. However, this generation is different. Our kids have not experienced civil war or martial law. This generation is born in a changing time. We cannot allow the same conditions to return. We cannot forget when General Luderin declared martial law in 1927, when his tanks rolled and murders took place, squishing little girls beneath their tracks. Those tanks cannot roll again. Bombs cannot fall again. Freedoms cannot be suspended again. 1927? Never again. Until now, of course. Violence in the streets. The real truth behind economic crisis. Large corporate businesses time and time again receive money from the government under the disguise of helping the economy, but what about the people? Many of the neglected regions still do not have electricity or fresh water in their homes, and they are the lucky ones. There is a growing housing crisis and people are on the streets begging for food. In the year of 1954. It is high time that money is invested in us, the people of Sordland, instead of armchair millionaires in their luxurious villas. I'm trying. It takes time. I'm trying. I'm helping the poorer people in Agland with the highway, for heaven's sake. Give me a chance. And Geopolitico. Rumberg closes consulate. Rumberg has closed down its consulate in Sordland, one of the few East Macopan nations to have diplomatic ties with the Northern Kingdom. Rumberg. These people are going to be a massive issue to us, especially because we are underfunded military and have no allies to speak of. The 120-year-old Rumberg consulate has closed. That is almost like a sign that they are preparing for war. Oh dear. It was not clear if the consulate closure was temporary or permanent, signalling a break in diplomatic ties which date from 1923. Interesting. So if we look at, first of all, a couple of things to look at. First of all, we were looking at was it Suzerain? We were looking at the pie chart to see whether or not, yeah, look at that, Golkondism is now at 40% down here in Suzerain. We saw news about this kind of fundamentalist extremist wing of ruhism. Quite a 47% bluish. Very high bluish population down there. And then if we come up to the northern reaches, like say Laren, for example, you'll expect to see quite a high portion, 12%. Of Rumbergian people, yeah, as they kind of mingle and filter. Some Rumbergians here, 28% Rumbergian in Estord. There's also a dam, apparently. I seem to remember reading that there's a dam in Rumberg heading from the Sorn Mountains down, which is rather interesting. But anyway, that is your news. That is what's going on. Basically, things are a royal mess. So what do you do when things are a royal mess, people? You go for dinner with the family. Time to think. Time away from the office. Time to chill. Because it's when you chill and relax with your family and friends that sometimes ideas ping into your head. Just make sure you've got a notepad and pen to write them down when they come flooding in. After a long day at the palace, I was finally home. The sound in the background of people being shot and people screaming and carrying on. It's okay, we can't hear them here. Sergei dropped us off, we thanked him, and we walked through the front gates, nodding at the two guards as we walk on by. Oh, it was Dina who began with the D. It's my daughter's name that begins with a D. I knew one of them began with a D. And I rattled the doorknob, turned the doorknob, and I could hear Dina rushing down the stairs to greet me. And before I've even opened the door, brings a smile to my face. Oh, little Dina coming to see me. There she was when I opened the door. Expectant eyes, glowing, beaming smile. You can always rely on your kids to bring a smile to your face when you've had a hard day. Like I would know. I'm just imagining it. Papa, you're home! Ah, there's my... You know what? We're going to lift her and we're going to hug her. We're going to put our back out, but we're going to do it. God, it's one of those days where you just need a squeeze. Oh. I lifted her up and hugged her. Whilst Jules trying to put the keys in the tray next to the entrance, which is a bad thing to do. Because people will nick your keys and take your car. Hey, it's 1954. This hasn't been invented yet. Anyway, she's growing. She's growing far too fast. Lifting her up was not easy, as it once was. Told you, putting her back out right here. Right before our very eyes. No, we're still out of school. Boring. I like my old school better. Okay, we put her down, and as we do so, her expression turns serious. Papa, are the bad men gone? It was only one bad man, Dina. Slight, smooth over, maybe a white lie. You think this one man is the problem here? And yes, he's gone now. Gone. Gone. Okay, Papa. And she dashes down the hallway. Can we smell dinner cooking in the kitchen? Mama, Papa's here! Monica appeared next to the kitchen door. She was wearing an apron and holding a spatula in her hand. Dina, what did I tell you? No running in the house. Yes, Mama. Monica approached me and kissed me on the cheek. A tantalising smell finally wafted from the kitchen behind her. What's cooking? Oh, we actually do have a cook. How was your day, dear? We say. Oh, terrific. I finally got to do some grocery shopping, just like old times. And I've dispatched the cook today because I am making your favourite. You mean, well, my favourite? One of my... Do you know what? I like a lot of food, right? But when it comes... the first food that comes to my head when somebody to say, apart from lamb, of course, what's your favourite food? Curry, love curries. Love curries to bits. Love lamb. Love, you know. What else do I like? Many things. But they're the two ones that spring to mind. But the one that comes to mind straight away, somebody would say to you, what's your favourite kind of dinner? Lasagna. Oh, just absolutely got to be lasagna. Absolutely love a good lasagna. But what about you, Mr. Rain? What's your favourite dish? Let's have a look. How are we guessing here? What does Mr. Anton Rain look like he might enjoy for a dinner? Zabla! Of course it is. That famous dish. Probably a made-up dish that's based on a similar dish in real life. Zabla was one of my hometown specialties. Oh, you've lost me at the chickpea part, mate. No, don't do chickpeas round here. Chickpea stew topped with beef braised in tomatoes and Bergen spices, traditionally served in a clay pot. Almost like, it's like that kind of tagine kind of thing. Tagines are served in clay pots, aren't they? Turkish? Is it tagine? Is it Moroccan tagine? I don't know. It sounds like I could. To be fair, I can eat chickpeas. It's not as if I like a banana. I can't eat bananas. I hate bananas. Cannot even stand the kind of things. I can eat chickpeas. Would never be my choice of food or curry. Chickpea curry, I can eat it. But please, it won't be my first choice. Or my second, or my third even. The real life name of the dish is chakchuka. I make Moroccan chickpea stew every week. Oh, cool. Well, of course, I'm off to Turkey in T-5 weeks. Not that I'm counting down, of course. So I'm hoping to sample some of the local cuisine when I get over there, because I do love spices, food with spices, you know, all the traditional. And Turkey are quite big on meats apparently, and especially lamb. And so, you know, if they're going to be serving up any sort of lamb dishes done in the Turkish fashion, oh, count me in. It's Algerian. Oh, really? Cool. Oh, it was my absolute favourite dish. Specially paired with cabbage. A potent unfiltered wine from my region. Oh, well, this dinner just keeps getting better. Where's the cabbage? Oh, demanding here. No. My lucky day. What have I done to deserve it? What is the occasion? No occasion. I just wanted to cheer everyone up a bit. Her smile faded and she lowered her voice so that Dina wouldn't hear. Especially after what happened at the ball, you know? I'm worried, Anton, for you, for the children, and for the country. Yeah, it's a field trip. That's precisely it, Marsh and I. I'm off to do my research. Dedication to the cause. I mean, it would have helped if I went before the game started, but hey. I've got a meeting with the Turkish lead. Who leads Turkey? Is it a prime minister? Is it a president? I don't bloody know. Anyway, I've got tickets. I'm off to see him. How do you run your country? I need some tips. Dina suddenly appeared next to us, like children always do. One minute they're there, then they're gone, and then when you think they're gone, they're back again, like whooshoo, like magic. Mama? Yes, sweetheart? I'm hungry. We'll eat in just a minute. Will you help me set the table? Anton, can you tell Frank to come down for dinner? He's been sulking in his room. Frank is a typical teenage lad, isn't he? He's always miserable. Oh, I don't want to go. In his room all day, every day. It's not even computer games. It's 1954. What is he doing in his room all this time? Every time. Okay, so she starts to take the plates out, and I'm going to have a word with my son here. This lazing about nonsense. Loud rock and roll music echoes down the hallway from his room, and I also caught a faint hint of cigarette smoke. Oh dear. Not in my house, Sonny Jim. Not in my house. Knock on the door. Nah, we're opening the door. Knock on the door, my foot. The door opens. I tried to open the door. It's locked. Who put locks on these doors? Knock on the door. Now, is it a knock like a doo, 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 or is it a boom boom kind of fist? Fist, palm, fist. Bang on the door. There was no response. Knock again, louder. My wife's probably thinking that the roof's caving in at this point. Still no response. Now we bang on the door. Always knock on your teenage son's door. What, to save any embarrassment? No. If you want to start smoking in my house, you're going to live with the consequences of me barging into your room and catching you doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or maybe something that you don't want me to see that you're doing. But hey, if you'd have turned the music down and want smoking, I wouldn't have had reason to come in, and would I? It is the 1950s. Look, I'm ahead of my time. Do you see a pipe hanging from my mouth, or a cigar? Bang, 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 bang! Open this door, young man! The stereo clicks off. All right, all right. He unlocks and opens the door. What do you want? Sarcastic, I like it. We're just going to be very matter of fact. We're not going to rise to the bait. We're not going to lose our temper. We hold out our hand. He looks at us. What? You know what? Hand them over. and downstairs for dinner. How's he going to respond to this? But you smoke, don't you? I'm old enough to do what I want. Oh, God. Parenting simulator. Hey, there's a game idea. Oh, it's a stroke of genius. Remember when I was playing, what was it called? Alan Wake, and we were talking about, you know, all the detective, the mind palace bit, putting the board together and all that. Rather than being a horror game, if they just focus on that as a detective game, that'd be pretty cool. Parent simulator. Don't want kids? Don't have kids? How about you have some pretend ones? Painting it while you can. We've got flipping car wash simulator, we've got goat simulator, car mechanic simulator, house flipper, all the rest of these kind of games where you simulate things. Have you ever seen a parenting one? I mean, I haven't. I mean, it's The Sims, but that's not just about parenting, it's about a variety of things. But I'm talking about games specifically about raising kids. Lots of different dilemmas happen. How would you handle it? What would you do? Oh, I think it'd be quite cool. You know, for people like me that don't want real life kids, I could happily have some virtual ones. It'd be marvellous, you know? Anybody watching out there, developers? I've got your money spinner here. Anyway, my son is being a stroppy teenager. I am trying to quit that nasty habit. You ought to stop while you still can. It's not good for your health, apparently. They're doing some research now. Frank heaved a sigh, handed me the packet, and headed downstairs. You see? I think we're a good father. I think we are. We could have flew off the handle. As long as you're in my house, you will do as I say. But no, we were very reasonable. Well, I'm trying to quit, so there you go. Being honest with you. When was the last time you saw me smoking and that? You didn't? Exactly. Okay, come on. Dinner time. Come on now. Ah, there you go. Cigarettes in my hand, just as I wanted them. No raised voices. Just a slight sore hand from banging on the door. Apart from that, everything's gone smoothly. As we get downstairs, the table is prepared and the food has been ladled onto the plates by my lovely wife, our favourite. What was the name of the dish? His favourite. Chickpea stew. I haven't, but I saw you put something in the Discord, Nagisa. I shall have to check it out. It's a game. I think was it a gameplay trailer that you put up? I think it was. I'm going to play that when it's released, unless it's like a car crash when it comes out. But I will be playing it. Come on, sit down, everybody. Come on now. It won't be as nice if it's cold. As we started eating, the room went quiet. Monica's cooking was as delicious as ever, but I had the feeling that wasn't the reason nobody spoke. Well, what did I see? You put it... you commented on it. Oh, somebody else put it up. You just commented on it. Okay. But I've definitely seen it on the Discord server somewhere. Why are we in silence? Did you know that they refurbished the grocery store? Idle chit-chat over the dinner table here. I don't know if you remember the owner. He's been there every day for the past 30 years. Can you imagine doing the same job for so long? What if you were president for 20 years, for example? No thanks. 2 terms, probably more than enough. For 20 years, I'd be dead. We could live like kings. Yeah. I think basically what we're saying here is you can overstay your welcome, you know? 20 years of any person. You're never gonna go out on a high, are you? If you've ruled for 20 years, by the end of that 20 years, people will be sick of the sight of you. So, you know, we don't want that. I'm going long before 20 years, my dear. Don't worry about that. Agreed. That must never happen again. Well, maybe we should bring in fixed term thingy. I think the terms are 4 years. Yeah, I think they are. Anyway, the grocer really is a nice person. He threw in some extra vegetables with my... Frank suddenly slammed his hands on the table, rattling the plates. Monica, Dina, and I stared at him. So, this is how it's going to be? We're just going to sit here like nothing's happened? Dad, you could have been killed. Mom could have been killed. We could have all been killed. Any one of us could have been dead right now. Dina's lower lip starts trembling. Monica puts her hand on Frank's shoulder. You will not raise your voice to me. And yet we are all still alive. I don't like any of these answers, really. Let's see, again, these kind of promises. I would never let anything happen. That's probably the closest answer that I like out of all of these. Even if it costs me a parental responsibility, I shall give my life for my kids. It's just the way it is. I know, but still, can you at least tell me if something's been done about this? It was real close, Dad. It's fine, it's fine. My security has assured me they've taken all the necessary steps. It's fine. The same security that a person gets shot in front of the palace? Frank, listen to your father. If your father says we don't need to worry, then we don't need to worry. You have to trust him. Monica turns to us. We all have to trust each other. Things calmed down and we finished our food in silence. Frank got up first and retreated back to his room. Monica lifted Dina up and plopped her in front of the living room TV before returning to the table for serious conversation. Anton? He's still young. Yes, I know, but there is not much longer we can shield him from the ugliness of the world. He's scared, Anton, and frankly, he isn't the only one. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? All you need to worry about is putting food on the table. Now just shut up and get on with it, all right? Where's the dessert? Look, I promise, if there is truly any threat to this family, you will be the first to know. Okay? She got up, stood behind me, and massaged my shoulders. Now, I mean, nobody has ever massaged my shoulders after a long day at work. It's one of the drawbacks of being single, I suppose. But I can imagine that if you've had a very long day at work, very busy, very tense, and somebody just gives you a shoulder massage, I bet it feels amazing. I bet it feels amazing. Oh, and all the weight of the world just evaporates away in that instant with her nimble fingers. And we continue to drain our cabbage. Had I been lying to Frank and Dina? Was the threat to my family truly over? Time will tell. That's a good way to end your dinner, isn't it? Time will tell. Right. Let's check out the reports first. There's only two. These are country-wide reports. So, the Republic of Morella You haven't read much about Morella, so seeing as we have got a report on Morella, we'll have a quick scan. What Morella's all about. First of all, though, let's have a look at the report. Okay, so they're expressing condolences for the recently killed Bernard Circus. President Alma Sultana conveyed heartfelt condolences to the people of Sordland. The leader recognised Circus as an influential poet and advocate for millennialist ideas, lamenting his loss as a blow to the literary and political world. She called for the memorialisation of Circus's contribution to social discourse and reaffirmed Morella's commitment to the ideals he espoused. See that, Chris? Let's have a look at the country now. Out of many, one. Now, this is really interesting, actually, that I just read this, because this is very, 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 very similar to the words of Jamaica, which I'm sure is out of many, one people. I'm almost certain. Somebody might need to Google it. But out of many, one. Very similar. Anyway, they are neutral relations with us. They have a similar military to us. They are a presidential republic. Formally recognised as the Republic of Morella, shares borders with the Free Cities and Kinal to the southwest, Risia to the east and Derdia to the north. Governed by a left-wing alliance. Initially inhabited by ancient tribes of South Macopa. Out of many, one people. I thought it was. I should know. My dad came from there after all. But yeah, it's a very, very, very one word difference. Okay, so what did we have? We had tribal occupation. I mean, I'm not overly concerned about the whole history of the place. Anything recent? Powerful kingdom between the 17th and 19th century. Independence movement following some period of weakness. Okay. After the 1920 revolution in the Valgos Empire, the Morellan coasts of the Duchy of Pales were reclaimed by the Republic, granting the country access to the Antecedent Sea. Through 1920 and 1950, various nationalist coalitions ruled the country, leading to increasingly authoritarian policies. However, the economic crisis has led to a unified front of previously divided left-wing parties. The Morellan Unified Front won the 1950 elections, forming the country's first left-wing government. Despite its rich resources, Morella is considered a middle economic power, and its citizens suffer from high levels of poverty. Average record of civil rights, below average political freedoms. And recently it's emerged as a hub for millennialist propaganda. Interesting. Where is the leader? Alma Sultana. Where is he? Where's his name? Why can't we click on his flipping name? Alma Sultana. Can we not click on the ruler? Is he not available? Oh well. Maybe he's not important enough. Right, okay. What have we got here? This is the Contarnan Security Pact. Read the report. CSP faction spotlights workers' rights in report. Drawing international attention to the pressing issue of labour conditions, a faction within the Contarnan Security Pact has released an insightful report on workers' rights within its members' nations. It asserts that these nations surpass the global standard, with an average minimum wage 45% higher than and industrial sector unionisation rates at an impressive 95%. Calling a fraction on the gender wage gap. Okay, interesting. Is that a bit of propaganda maybe? I don't know. Possibly. Magnolia is the one to our north, right? Rumburg, we know Rumburg. Wayland, Lesbia, all around the south. Reglands is an island chain. Here. I see, so they're expanding some of these in preparation for the DLC. Makes sense, actually. Okay, cool beans. Right, what have we got going on? I dread to look at what carnage is happening next. Everything is just doom and gloom. Anyway, we've got papers. Paper talk. Protests continue across Sordland. Protests erupt around Sordland after the death of Bernard Circus, many of which started peaceful but soon turned violent. Protesters with red youth flags were seen in most central cities around Sordland carrying out violent riots and organising protests that disrupted much vital services from being delivered. Protesters held sit-ins, which were broken up by riot police with tear gas and water cannons, in the regions of Berger, Agland and Grooney. So Agland up there, Grooney, where's Grooney? Grooney's down here, and Berger's down there. Thousands of people poured into Republic Avenue in Leshaven and Sol Square in Holsword in response to the Young Swords attack. The wrong economy. Oh, finally they've commented on it. The government has made its decision to promote a planned economy, a decision which is based on flawed arguments of Solonomics. The economists believe in the free market economy for good reason. Now, before anybody calls us Arcasia sympathisers, we don't support the excessive form of capitalism Arcasia is spreading around the world like in Lesbia. Our belief is that a balance can exist, where the government can support the private sector with government money. Businesses could take the needed economic planning burden off the shoulder of the government. We disagree with a planned economy simply because you can't properly micromanage everything in a society where people need to be able to determine their own future. The Swordish people don't deserve to be shackled, and it is sad to know that President Rain doesn't think the same way. I do wonder about planned economy and whether it was the right choice. Political chaos. Okay. Protests turning into riots, violent attacks. So Kibbener of the National Front called a rally to condemn communist influence from United Contana and called the violent protesters as traitors to Sordland. These millennialists are roaming in our streets conducting violent attacks in disguise as peaceful protesters. We can't let them exploit a man's murder, said Kibbener at a press conference. On the other hand, the Labour Union of Sordland has gathered to condemn nationalist violence in Sordland. The protests gathered crowds of several thousands and agitators from both sides, and acts of vandalism occurred. Katarina Horton, who the hell is she? Swordish Labour leader, politician and activist of Bludish descent, member of the Assembly, and the current spokesperson of the Labour Union of Sordland. Young Swords vandalise shops. Targeting Bludish and Agno-Swordish minorities. Shop owners were wounded. And you've got an office burnt down. A National Front Party headquarters committed arson. Holy hell, this is getting radical. Unrest in Sordland. Arvery, which is up here. Hundreds of nationalists descended on the Pifjib Party office in Arvery after the supportive statements of Friends Richter about Bernard Circus. The office was stoned by the aggressive group and several civilians were wounded in the chaos. Later in the evening, another group of militants fired shots at 5 people who were inside the Communist Party's local office, killing 4. And in Jen, protesters have gathered to condemn the murder in the nationalist stronghold of Jen. More woundings, clashes with riot police. How are we going to get this sorted? This is absolute carnage. With a capital Khan. React to the unrest. Oh, finally. We've had our lovely dinner. Now we better do some work. The political situation around the country has escalated. Chief strategist Lucien Gallard, who is the guy that is with the... Yep, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Has prepared several action plans that we can execute. What we will do to address the climate. Call for restraint on national television. Visit affected towns in person. Label all protesters as traitors. Expand the police by deploying all recruits in training. Reject the plans. I'm thinking wide reach. Now, we could visit affected towns in person, which actually is probably a very good option. But I'm just thinking of reach. Physically visiting towns or going on TV. You can reach more people on TV, but then again, a bit more standoffish. Face behind a screen kind of thing. We certainly can't do nothing. The thing that jumped out was definitely visiting towns. I don't even know whether or not how many people we reach is a thing, to be honest with you. But it was something that we would think about. But I'm thinking that we need to be seen. We also can't be seen to be shying away from recent events. As much as we're putting ourselves out there with the people where we could be shot dead, we're going to have to take it. We're going to have to do it. And I think we're going to go and visit towns in person. Oh, here we go. Right, so I'm going to get me dinner, and then we're going to go on a tour. Elquist style. Oh. Isn't every town affected? Near enough. Oh. Oh, right, there we go. No, excuse me. First of all, I've lost shortness of breath here from running up the steps. But second of all, my mother has made her own cheese sauce from scratch. So I'm just assessing the sauce right now. I've got a couple of tips for her, bless her. I think the flour needs to be cooked out a bit more. Says Gordon Ramsay here. But when you make your roux for a white sauce, you use the flour and you use butter, but you've got to make sure that you cook the flour completely out before you add the milk. That's the tip, you see. Make sure that flour's cooked out, and then you can add your milk, and then I like to put a bit of nutmeg in it, and then I add all the cheese, you see. Anyway, we're going to visit affected towns in person, because that is clearly the best thing to do, we think. get in amongst the people, show our face, lead by example, where, you know, let's do it. This could go horribly wrong. This could go horribly wrong. News article. President Rain talks to protesters. President Anton Rain visited towns around Greater Hallsword and Grooney, which were heavily affected by the protests and riots that popped up around the country, triggered by the death of Circus. He was seen talking to the protesters and listening to the concerns of the citizens. This sends a powerful message to Swordish citizens that the government is walking among them and listening to their problems. Hallsword is desperately trying to restart Sordland's economy after the recession, and this political unrest is not helping, said a Swordish scholar and professor of law at Hallsword State University. Gone down well, I think. Gone down well. End the day at the Maroon Palace. Right. It was late in the evening. We've done our tours, whizzing around in our motorcade. Next, where are we going next? We're off to Vesor next. Oh, not Vesor. Wherever we're going, I don't know. Anrika, that's the town in the area. What's the other two towns in the Greater Hallsword area? Escapes me. The Maroon Palace was finally getting quiet when I returned to my office at the top. I eagerly approached my chair and sprawled out. It's been a long day, but I think productive. I think we're making, you know, we're showing the people that we are one of the people. Exhausting. We've told our son that we're trying to stop smoking. Whiskey. Why not? We pour it, we hear it, we smell it first. Maybe it's that Earl Roy blend. You listen to it glugging out the bottle as it pours into a glass, and then we just take a sip. It felt like the best salve after a long day of work. We glanced down out the window and noticed Sergei and the guards waiting for me by the main gate. Bless them. They're just there waiting, thinking, when is it bloody going to come out? And we're there, just like in complete control. I could make her wait half an hour if I want. I had a couple of knocks on the door. My secretary enters. We've seen her before, don't forget, because she was the one that patched the fella through, who was supposed to be meeting very shortly. Mr. President, Mr. Tusk. Hey up, Nagisa. Your mate's coming. Your mate's arrived. Mr. Monocle's arrived. Mr. Tusk is here to see us. Really, Mr. Tusk, you say? Interesting. This could be an important meeting. Unexpected meeting, perhaps. You had a meeting with the Lotherberg spokesman. I'm so sorry for not giving you the proper notice. As in, you're just telling me now? Notice? As I'm sipping on my whiskey and enjoying downtime after my tour of the country? We're probably quite prone to snapping right now, you know, being a bit snappy. It's fine. We say probably quite brusquely, though. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, thank you for your understanding. Understanding, you say. After a moment. See you later, Oliver. Mr. Tusk swaggers into the room. I'd met Sordland's most prominent businessman once or twice, but never alone. He had large jowls, blindingly shiny shoes, and the air of someone who was used to getting his way. Well, I got news for you, buddy. You're in my house now. You're in my house. Anything to drink, Mr. Tusk? Water? Whiskey? Cognac. Preferably from before you were born, sweetheart. I'll check the supply room. Liv, for short, of course, backed out of the office, shooting me an apologetic look as she did so. We keep a straight face for now. Walter hung up his hat, which I could see was lined with mink, fixed me with a long hard stare, then broke into a toothy grin. Good evening, Mr. President. I am here to congratulate you. We both sat down. My business partners and I wish you a successful term as the leader of our nation. Thank you, Mr. Tusk. Who buys a mink hat? I had no choice to say this at the ball with all the panic, but we are very much looking forward to working with you. Thank you. We know there's more to this than meets the eye, but we'll let him get to the point. I'd like to build a profitable relationship between us. That being said, there are some concerns of mine and the people I represent, which I would like to take this opportunity to clear up. I'm listening. No, in fact, first of all, the people you represent. You know that I represent the Lotherbert Group, Mr. President. But of course, these concerns are not limited to them. The ruined state of the economy in Sordland has influenced everyone. The recession hit all of us hard. Pulls out a box of cigars. Mink heart, cigars, cognac, just who does this fool think he is? I had these brought from Lesbia, the best cigars in the whole continent. Would you care to try one? It's okay. I'm quitting smoking. Walter grabbed himself a cigar and lit it. He looked out towards the city scenery as he puffed away. I heard that you purchased stock from Armadine Industries in Arcasia. Smart buy. They are developing new gadgets that are going to be profitable. Well, I figured, why not take the chance? Play it a bit dumb, you know. I just thought, in for a penny, in for a sword, swordish wren. Just threw me money just in there. Just thought, oh well, you never know, do you? Gotta be in it to win it. Of course, we were advised by, was it Gus that advised us, or the other guy? It was one of our advisors that brought this to our attention. It is much worse to live with regret and what ifs. Very true statement, actually. I'll buy a couple of thousand of shares too to expand my portfolio. Hope the investments pay off for both of us, President, eh? His eyes wandered away for a moment. The assassination and the troubles between the left and right are worrying, but the recession is the root cause of these issues. For us, it is worrying to see that you have decided to promote a planned economy. Yes, well, I just figured that we need a bit more government control in the first instance to stabilise the economy, and the plan is then to maybe transition towards more market reforms much more slowly than dear old Alfonso did. Do you really, though? Our government is already overburdened with managing several key industries, with the loss of efficiency. He leans forward in his chair, probably blowing cigar smoke all over the place. The highway investment was a good call, but there was more to gain in the high-speed rail, especially for business logistics. Yes, perhaps, but the Agland region was in dire need, and I stress the term dire need, of investments. The most important goal is to divert investments where most profits can be made for the Treasury. Surely, we can be close allies. The group can help you get Sordland out of the recession, which will be the key problem to solve in your term, and could even determine your re-election. Let's start with a gesture of goodwill. Soon, the investment project contract will be awarded to one of the three main contenders. Pulls a cheque out of his pocket and slides it over the table. My personal bank details were listed on it with a deposit of 500,000 Sordish Ren ready to be transferred. This was 6 months of a president's salary. Apparently, bribing us 500,000 Sordish Ren. 6 months' salary. Hang on a second, folks. I was adamant I wasn't going to take a bribe. But the thing is, if he's trying to bribe us for a choice that we would have made anyway, we'll take it. But we don't know what the choices are yet. If the contract was somehow awarded to underhaul construction, they would not only work hard and deliver, but also do it on time. Now, we read the papers. They've won top construction company how many years running? I mean, I don't believe that, claptrap. Don't forget they're also really bad for workers' rights. But they have actually delivered quite a lot of large-scale projects, so they have got form. It would still look bad if it came. Yeah, that's if it came out. Saved by Liv, who comes in with the cognac. Bottle, 2 glasses, old Tuskies pointing at the cheque. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Tusk, but all I could find was a 1942 Sevigny. I hope that's acceptable. She quickly put the tray on my desk and walked out. Tusk eyed her as she left. Remind me to visit your office more often. Now, where were we? Do we have a deal? What a horrible man. Oh, 500,000? I thought my services were worth more than that, Mr. Tusk. Let's go back to the drawing board, shall we? Oh, the fun you could have in this game, I bet. Jeez Louise. Why have I plumped to play a good guy? I'm running a country. My first playthrough could have been as a dictator, you know? Why have I chosen to try to be competently good? Did you just try to bribe the president of Sordland? Oh, God, what do we do? I'm thinking. It shouldn't really be a difficult decision. We're not in it for personal gain, for personal wealth. I know we're not exactly rolling in cash right now, but we are not going to be bribed, I'm afraid. We will make our own decision, and we put that as politely as possible towards him. That doesn't mean, Mr. Tusk, that I won't be picking underhaul construction, by the way. Just that if I do pick them, it's because it's my choice and not because of a payment. He sighs and pulls the check away, putting it in his pocket. But I thank you for the visit, nonetheless. Pleasantries shall remain, of course. It was good to share opinions, yes. We will meet again in the future, for sure. Oh, I almost forgot. Please say hello to Mr. Koronti for me. Shoots us a smile, probably with a gold tooth in as well, you know. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying there. Oh, you're all in the inner circle together, and you're quite aware that I'm visiting Mr. Koronti. Okay, yes, very good, Mr. Tusk, very good. And Mr. Koronti shall get the same treatment from me if he dares to try to bribe me too. Okay, thank you, and now you can leave my office. He stood up, grabbed his jacket, and off he trots. And finally, once he's gone, I finish my whiskey, gathered my things, and prepare to head home. Liv covering a typewriter as I walk out. If I may be so bold, Mr. President, did you accept his offer? How, of course I didn't, Liv. How could you even ask me that? I know we haven't known each other very long, but come on now. I am not a president to be bribed. Bear that in mind, Liv. Bear that in mind. The other girls have told me about all kinds of dealings that went on during the Alfonso administration. I wasn't sure if you were that kind of president. I most certainly am not. She and I took a moment to look out over the lights of the city, in silence, before heading to the elevators. Ding! Oh, now, I've got a sneaking suspicion. we're on the we're not taking any bribes. We've got no allies. I can't physically see how this is going to end well for us, to be honest with you. You know, you can't be a politician and act in this manner. Surely. Right, what have we got going on here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the reports, but I'm going to read them while I'm eating, so I'm going to read them in silence, and you're going to have to read yourselves. I do apologise, but I just need to finish this dinner quite quickly so we can then press on with the rest of the stream. We'll be finishing about 10:30 today, by the way. So, yeah, you might have to do a bit of reading yourselves. So just bear with me, folks, but I won't be long. So once again, the news is all doom and gloom. But anyway, we are now here driving to Lenkirk, sampling with our very own car the horrors of the cliffside road condition. But when we get there, there's crowds of cheering citizens, which is always nice to see. Not being egged, tomatoes thrown at us just yet. It's nice, it's nice. Obviously we're here for this significant meeting about this highway project. Several construction companies sent their representatives to the City Hall, touting for business. Interesting. Let's see who we're going to go with. Major decision here. Wouldn't it be? Well, it would be still quite hilarious if we go with the construction company that we were bribed to select. We'll take Gus's word pretty seriously. Is Gus the guy? No, it's Simon who's the guy that I keep getting confused about. Yeah, Simon is the guy that's got the books and stuff. I mean, Gus is not a slouch, but we'll see what they have to say. Oh, Gus isn't even here. Oh, he's off to Resia. Okay, we've got Lilius and we've got Simon. We should be fine. Besides starting... Hello? Is it just me, or did anybody else hear any talking in the game then? Was that talking in the game? Or was it just me? Oh, it's my phone! Bloody thing. Go away. I need to turn it off. Yeah, I thought that's what I mean. I was like, what the hell was that? Bloody phone. This happened before when I was playing this game, if you remember. What am I saying in this game that triggers my phone to go into like Google search mode? Voice activation. Not a clue. It's being spied on here. It did, didn't it? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It happened before. Maybe it's all this political talk. Maybe people think I'm plotting the downfall of the government right here. Simon Hall. But I didn't say Simon Hall. I said Simon. I didn't mention his full name, did I? Anyway, besides starting our economic recovery, this project will cut the time it takes to get here by road in half, Mr. President. By half. That is a significant decrease in travel time. More importantly, it will lead to improvement in Agland. I have lived with these people and seen them suffer. Of course, she was one of the former mayors of Arvery, I believe. So Lilia's really happy at the moment. Well, I trust in the plan. Glad to hear it. We should be able to slow down the recession if we finish this project successfully. I look forward to a positive financial outcome. According to my sources, we lift many people in the area out of poverty. Well, I hate to say it to both of you, but failure is not an option. No pressure, but this has to succeed. We'll not let the people or ourselves down. I won't let that happen to any of us. Our economic revitalization plan is set to be a success. Failure is indeed not an option. Simon searched through the documents he was holding and found the one he was looking for. I have the overview of the companies here. He hands me the files. I look at the files. 3 corporations were listed. Underhaul. We know about these guys. Walter Tusk has got half the shares, which was a breach of process, but it's very influential in the private sector. They've done the central station. Workers' rights is an issue. We've got the Sordland State Corporation. It's the government corporation that is tasked with running public construction contracts in Sordland. Also part of the Big Four. It is the most honourable company in the country with a long and solid track record of accomplishing critical projects. The efficiency seems to have dropped due to the recession and the somehow corrupt management structure. It is still considered the safest bet for big projects in the minds of many government officials. That's the key. In the minds of the government officials. In reality, though, is it? Taurus Holding. New and entrepreneurial private company that uses cutting-edge construction technology from Arcasia to reduce construction costs and prices. Could be a gamble, but drastic times call for drastic measures. They recently began taking bigger and riskier contracts in several industries, including the construction industry. Taurus also deals with shipyard building, bridge works and training aircraft hangars. The company is known for its great employee perks and high union membership. It is considered much more open and competitive compared to the usual Sordland corporations. They are known for their port expansion project in Benfey, which was completed with half the budget. So we've got Underhaul Construction, which have left a bad taste in our mouth because it's owned by Walter Tusk, who's tried to bribe us. Nonetheless, they've got a very good track record for delivering on time, but to the expense of workers' rights. Big company, famous company, top company for 11 years running or whatever the hell it was. Sordland State Corporation, government corporation, inefficient. I think we can rule them out. Because obviously everything's state-run and we're doing planned economies, it would almost make sense to use them. But Taurus rings out to me. Cutting edge. We've seen some of the cutting edge stuff coming out of Arcasia in the news. We've got the missile weapon thing. We had the other thing that came out that which we put shares in. Half the budget. We haven't got a budget to play with, really. Hardly. So that's good. Good with the staff perks. That's good as well. Good perks for the staff. Good union membership. But they don't have a track record like the other companies. They're taking on new stuff. We might get a bit of a blurb from the two here. We'll get their views, but President Rain's view right now is actually Taurus. And as somebody that's born on May the 10th, I'm a Taurus after all, so maybe a bit of subconscious bias, or unconscious bias perhaps is the correct term. I have reviewed them. I also took the liberty of asking the Mayor of Arvery to give his opinion on the matter. Right, Lilius, hit me with it. What do you reckon? Taurus, right? Which corporation should we talk about? All of them, actually, but go on. Tell me about... Let's go in order. Tell me about the Sordland State Corporation first. The respected Sordland State Corporation, also known as the SSC, was founded in 1891. It is the main state corporation tasked with running the day-to-day construction services of our country. Yeah, day to day. This is not a day-to-day project. This is Big's project here. Leave them to do day-to-day things, perhaps. The SSC is, and she loves salt, doesn't she, this woman here, so she's going to be very pro this, I'm assuming, is one of our most trusted and honourable companies. They have served us a long time. I have worked with them on several occasions. It would fulfil your initial election promise of using a state-dominant planned economy to improve Sordland's bleak economic prospects. They have the experience and the manpower to pull off a project like this. Secondly, they are the only company to have worked in the Agland region out of all 3 corporations. The outdated construction methods that they use do concern me. They are several decades behind. Perhaps, but nothing. We are trying to modernise. Let's be honest. And yeah, again, planned economy. It would make sense to use these guys, but we did get the impression when we was picking our market economy, planned economy, whatever, that things are taken on a case-by-case basis. Although technically speaking, then Lilius said, oh, but you can't be haphazard. Oh, that's not good. So we've got to be careful here. It's going to be interesting if all the things I pick are completely, utterly not to do with the planned economy. I'm concerned with the lack of modern attitude. I think Mr. Rain is all about modernisation, change. You know, we need radical. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get different results. We've used these same tried and tested methods before, and we're gonna be stuck in a rut. We need change, and I think this could be our first major change. We'll see. Yeah, I am a bit concerned about the lack of modern attitude. You know, times are changing, things are developing. Let's look at the Arcasia situation. All that technology, we cannot be behind the times. I don't agree with your negative statement, Simon. The SSC's record clearly shows completed contracts with thousands of employees who have more than 20 years of experience. Okay, I like the SSC. Don't get me wrong. It's safe, it's secure, it's stable. We can guarantee the job will be done. But I want to hear about the others first. Underhaul construction next, please, Simon. The real estate and construction giant was founded in 1925 and expanded during the economic boom of the 30s. Picking this corporation would go against our planned economy policy. The CEO of Underhaul is Chris Shah, the mayor of Conriat. He sold half of his shares a few years ago. So Chris Shah is the mayor of Conriat. Walter Tusk has got half shares. And the other guy who we're seeing, Mr. Koronti, is currently big residence in Conriat. Mayor, probably like this with him. All very much like a little bit of, you know, not very happy with that get-up over there. They think they're going to influence me. I had to work with Underhaul Construction before in Hallsword. They accepted several contracts for the renovation of our central station and left much to be desired. The H3 project shouldn't be left to them. Tell us more about this experience, please, Lilius. Out of all 3, this is the company I trust the least. They seem to fail at respecting the contract terms of their workers. They're likely to cause trouble. I'm not too sure about trusting them with the contract, but at least they have worked on several mega projects and always delivered on time. Yes, working conditions must be respected. We can't have... We've got unrest already. What more do we need? Bloody workers up in arms and protesting next? No. Doesn't inspire confidence with me, that. I agree. The workers were undocumented Anglolian and Wessex immigrants with no papers. A clear violation of our laws. According to them, the tight completion schedule necessitated such bad labour conditions, which still doesn't justify the situation. Underhaul specifically mentioned their solid track record and highlighted that they do anticipate to go over budget, but that the project will be finished on time. Yeah, you know what? This is probably one I could rule out now. I'm not happy with their practices with their shareholders. I'm not happy with their practices with their workers. I'm not happy at the fact that I was tried to be bribed to pick them. And they had double the cost of the first one too. I'm not sure. No. I think it's 50-50 between SSC and this new upstart, which you're now going to tell me about. Tell me about Taurus Holding, please. Taurus Holding was founded in 1946 and is owned by the entrepreneur Geralt Face. Now, where was I? I was reading the history of of all of the towns of the area. I'll have to find it. I think it's somewhere in Bergia. But there was a reference to Geralt of Rivia in this game. I'll have to find it. It's not this guy, but Geralt's just reminded me. There's a reference, and you'll see it, and it's like, yes, that's definitely an Easter egg. I can't remember. It was like Gerard or Gerald of Ribery or something like that. It was uncannily similar. After Geralt Face is the entrepreneur. More recently found. Yeah, we'll have to find it now. After we've done this bit, I'll have a quick scan around. It is a new holding company whose subsidiaries use cutting-edge technology from Arcasia to reduce construction costs and prices. They are known to provide for their workers, who are part of the labour union of Sordland. There are other things Taurus does very well, like providing consultants for state corporations, but I can't vouch for their infrastructure construction at all. Okay, why shouldn't we go with Taurus? Well, one of our promises would be respected. We promised to focus on the planned economy to create jobs. This company is completely private and directed by a non-government board. Do we even remember if they worked on a mega project at all? Choosing this company is too much of a risk for such an important project, especially when a proven candidate like the SSC exists. And this is our first major project as well. First major project going completely against our manifesto pledge. It's going to go down like a lead balloon, isn't it? Oh, God. Their capabilities matter more than the history. We need to make a clear, unbiased decision based on all the facts. Between the three of us, we can get there. Come on. Cast your votes now, please. They took a joint contract in Arcasia for restructuring the highway intersection of one of the major cities. It went well, but it is their only large-scale success. Well, it's a highway, similar job to this one, I suppose. That's a definite positive. It's not like they were successful throwing up a skyscraper and now they're doing roads. No. Success with roads, They're building roads. That's a good sign. If you're going to try a different company, this is the most unique. But to me, it signals clear intention to change. We're breaking away from the corporate bloody capital bloody bribey people, and we're going away from the state construction. So this is true change, isn't it? I'm sure in 4 years' time the people will forget the fact that we didn't stick to our promised pledge of state economy on this one occasion. Sure, I'll be fine. The project manager from Taurus Holding mentioned that they would be able to finish the project with the allocated funding. They are the only company who found the budget sufficient, making them a cheaper alternative. I mean, it's almost like it's too good to be true. Workers' rights, cheaper to get it done. There's gonna be a kink in the road. There's got to be. This cannot go smoothly. It just seems too easy. They're cheapest. What if they have trouble getting all this fandangled technology from arcades? What if it all goes wrong? Oh my god. We're going to absolutely be hammered. But no. I'm going to stick with my gut reaction. When your gut reaction tells you something, sometimes, most of the time in fact, you should probably go with it. So, we're going to try something a bit different. We're going to try Taurus Holding. Oh, it's so painful to press it. Should we use the SSC? We'll go with Taurus Holding. Because not being here is annoying. I want a third opinion. No, do you know what? Taurus Holding. We are looking to the future, not to the past. On this one occasion. This is why I said in hindsight when I thought about it and started my second playthrough. It should have not so much a fan of the planned economy route. But Mr. Rain was an economic man, and he trusts in planned economy when it suits. And right now, Taurus Holding is the company of choice. Just go for it. Simon signs part of the dossier. Fixes his glasses. Lilius is probably sighing and holding her head in her hands. Very well, Mr. President. The contract will be awarded to Taurus Holding. Oh, I wish the outcome of this meeting was different. Can't lie, but at the end of the day, the success of the project is what matters. Yes, the company will be notified today, and construction work will begin immediately after. Great news. My expectations are that the grand opening ceremony will happen late next year. I'd better get back to work then. Thank you both for your input. Much appreciated, as always. Good day. The meeting ended, and we spent the remainder of the day attending events in Lenkirk. It was nice to enjoy the natural beauty of Agland and to eat some good fish. Agland, famous for their salmon. Right, look at that. Quarter of the way done. Oh. Let's see what the news make of this decision. Oh no, I'm expecting to get a missive from Mr. Tusk any moment now. Oh dear. Right. Construction begins for H3 Highway. Taurus Holding has been awarded a 2-year contract for an extensive infrastructure project, subsequent design and construction work as part of the H3 Highway expansion project in Sordland. In addition to the geotechnical ground investigation, Taurus will provide the design of all the civil structures, including ground retaining walls and earthworks for the highway. Taurus said it could build the line much stronger than planned, and at a much lower cost, according to a letter seen by the economists. But US PMP Albin Clavin had warned letting Taurus build H3 would be extremely questionable. Who the hell are you? The leader of the progressive faction. So he's more towards kind of the future, going away from the Sol stuff. Face of the new generation, which is what I'm trying to achieve in a way. So I mean, we should be on good terms. Okay, so the project involves widening hundreds of kilometres of existing motorway, an open tunnel nearly 3 kilometres long. Will pass from Lenkirk to Avery and will be expanded to Styleport after that. Risky highway project. This project will cross the poorest areas of Sordland, developing the region, improving foreign trade and increasing access to employment. The contract was given to an inexperienced company named Taurus Holding. Basically there's lots of things to worry about with a project such as this, and therefore the decision of such a vital project to be given to a company like Taurus should not have been taken so easily, as they lack the large-scale experience and the organisational capacity to complete such a big task. People are sceptical whether this is going to be worth the time and money. Well, we shall see, won't we? Let's stop being Debbie Downers here. Come on now. Right, what we got? We've got economic relief plan. Oops. And we've got the meeting with Koronti, whatever it's called. We'll save that for last. Let's get the economic relief plan. With the assistance of the National Business Council and the Central Bank, Simon Hall put forward a country-wide relief plan to mitigate the economic hardships that are being felt. We can either provide stimulus checks for people in need or bail out businesses under serious financial strain, or decide not to do anything. Well, we did say we are a man of the people, and therefore stimulus checks for the people is clearly the preferred option here. I mean, bailing out businesses, costly. I mean, it's going to cost the same regardless, to be fair. But yeah, stimulus checks. I mean, handouts. Never a big fan of handouts, really, but I could never be a politician, I tell you. I'd be sat dithering in my office. People in need. People in need. Ooh, our budget is shrinking. Right, we have got some developments here. Economy, development, situation. Stimulus checks distributed. The government's provision of stimulus checks to citizens in need has been a crucial lifeline for many struggling families, helping them pay for necessities such as food and rent. The relief effort has positively impacted millions of people across Sordland, providing them with the financial support they require to make ends meet. Right, there's a couple of updates that happened off camera when I was reading before the stream started that I was supposed to tell you about. The first one was the situation with the nationwide revolts that cropped up. Sure, something else cropped up here. Can't remember where it was. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was just the one. It wasn't under military. I thought it was these two. Yeah. Oh, it was the Rumberg expansionism. Something to do with Rumberg. Had diplomatic pressure. It was this one, diplomatic pressure. Facing noticeable pressure from Rumberg. Reduction of diplomatic staff, closure of key consulate. So this updated based on obviously the report that we saw. So yeah, diplomatic pressure increasing, and of course we've got nationwide revolts happening. Hopefully the handouts will get people spending money and not worrying about things for a little while. Okay, newspapers. Unemployment and checks. The administration has fallen for populism and the idea that giving people money will solve the problems of the economy overall. It is hard to grasp where these ideas come from, especially when long-term job growth and employment is what this country needs to secure in order to have a stable economy. What is the plan here? People will be able to pay their rents for a few months and then they will fall into the same unemployment trap due to a lack of job availability or security. The businesses can't carry all the weight of the declining economy on their own shoulders and employ people without help from the government. The administration needs to reevaluate their way out of the recession with realistic methods. Now, I did say I'm not a big fan of handouts for this precise reason. It's like the old fish argument again. You know, once they've spent that money, they're back into square one, aren't they? But hey, populism, that's me. Mr. Economist here. Radical, help comes at last, says the Radical. The new administration, led by President Rain, has accomplished a great feat by providing stimulus checks to help people in need. These started going out as soon as the act was approved by the President himself, and all eligible people in the lower income brackets received nearly 4 months of the average salary on a single day. This was such a powerful political move that resonated very well with the populace. Praise where praise is due. When the people were in dire need and help and suffered, the President came to their aid. Thanks to this action, many who were economically insecure have just received a second chance to bounce back. Help came to the people at last. Slightly different spin on that tale. We shall see how it plays out with the fullness of time. Of course, there will be other things going on in the background. That was just one of our little methods. We shall continue onwards and meet with Marcel Koronti. Mr. Koronti in his little villa. Let's see how this meeting goes. Our motorcade headed to the meeting location set by Marcel Koronti. I had only my most confidential and trustworthy team members with me. After a few hours of driving along River Eskel, we took a turn before entering Conria. The darkness started setting in as we drove up to a hill. We start peering outside. Where are we? Where are we, Sergey? We are nearing the HOS Country Club, Mr. President. We'll be there soon. We arrived and the big iron gates of the country club opened. It was huge and outright extravagant. The main building, inspired by lesbian architecture, was illuminated from all sides. It was rather chilly. I was approached by Peter and Lucien. Oh, I hope the journey was comfortable. Yes, this location is a tad remote. A very exclusive country club for people who value their privacy. We enter the main building. After opening the marble-engraved wooden door, we were greeted by two tall women. The receptionists led us to the meeting room upstairs. Marcel was standing by the window looking outside at the beautiful complex. He turned around to have a quick look at us. He was a strikingly handsome man with well-groomed hair. He walked towards me with his hand reached out for a handshake. Okay, we shall shake his hand, of course. He has a firm grip. It is such a pleasure to meet you in person, Mr. Koronti. I appreciate your efforts to reach out and establish a mutually beneficial friendship. Thanks for hosting us. I admired your father very much. May he rest in peace. Welcome. Your kind words have touched me, Mr. Vice President. He was indeed a great man. Yes. Please accept all of our condolences. We are saddened. He would have been very happy to hear this from you, Mr. President. It's time to look forward, though. Let's talk about our bright future. Yes, indeed. There is much to discuss. Believe it or not, I have been a secret admirer of your political success. I find your quick rise to power was shockingly well executed. Well, thank you. Marcel gently pointed at the seats. We sat down around a gigantic table. Before speaking, he knocked on wood. The past months have been tumultuous, to say the least, but I'm glad that you and your family were unharmed at the shooting. The whole incident must have been a shock for the kids. They aren't used to what we lived through back in the late 20s. I still remember when my father took us out of the country when it became too dangerous in Conriat. Yes, well, thank you, Marcel. They were startled, but the important thing is they're safe and sound now. Of course, that is all that matters. No family should suffer from tragedy ever again. We had enough of that. Well, I am known to be a straightforward person, so let me get to the point without wasting your valuable time. It was during the Alfonso campaign when I was struck by what you have done within the party. He starts to look at one of the paintings on the wall. We continue to fix our gaze on Marcel, trying to get, read body language and all that kind of jazz. Marcel pointed his finger at me. You said, we will transform this nation, Mr. Rain. My conglomerate has a way of doing things, and I don't want them to change. So I want to cooperate with you. Cooperate? You might have the people's support now, Mr. President, but what happens when you make mistakes? Everybody makes mistakes. What is that supposed to be? Mr. Vice President, that's a serious point. Being a president in this country means having many enemies. Enemies that would resort to anything to bring you down. Let's say these enemies caused a scandal, or leaked sensitive information from the administration. These would be destructive when they were released. If they were released. Carry on. Assume that the articles would actually protect your integrity no matter what. Try to imagine how up to 5 million people I reach will not lose faith in you. Okay. And what exactly do you want in return for 5 million people not losing faith in me? I want 2 things, Mr. President. Number 1 is a guarantee from you that the Reign administration won't meddle in HOS affairs no matter what happens. Number 2 is a simple gentleman's favour for the future. Let me prove my services to you first, and I'm sure you won't disapprove when the time comes. This guy is the press guy, yeah. Papers and I'm sure he's got some kind of influence over the Sordland Broadcasting Corp, BBC equivalent, basically, of the Sordland variety. I think it mentions it here somewhere, does it not? I've definitely seen it somewhere. I'm sure he was. I'm sure it's him involved. So basically, if we don't take this deal, these papers are going to get more and more menacing, I suppose, towards us, and really, really jump on anything that goes horribly wrong. Twist what we say. Won't meddle. What has he got planned that's going to require me to meddle? An interesting proposal. Not just interesting, but necessary. You surely know that this is a win-win situation. The media will be on your side, strengthening your position. It will also protect my business operations throughout the changes this country will see. Lucian, any thoughts on this matter? I think this is a good idea. He's right. We will need the media. With his newspapers and channels on our side, we can dodge a lot of bullets. The one thing that bothers me, though, is his favour request. We do not know what it is, and he could ask for something that could point fingers at us. Marcel interrupted. So, do we have a deal? I think at some point we can't say no to everybody. We can't. And out of all of the deals that we've had so far, this seems to be, I'm not saying it's completely palatable, but the most palatable out of all the other decisions we've made so far. The bigwig, Mr. Tusk, not interested. This is not involving a bribe per se. It's just, yeah, you leave us be and the papers will be favourable. Leave you be. I mean, what business do we have meddling anyway in his activities unless they're illegal, at which point that would be a very interesting prospect. The favour thing is part 2, but we'll get to that later, he says. It's like making a deal without having the full picture. And as we all know from real life, the press, well, if you believe what the press say, then you're a fool. Because obviously they spin things. But they could indeed make or break us. Which was really interesting because I was in the Wetherspoons today. Obviously, I mentioned it at the start of the stream. I went to the Wetherspoons in Harrogate, the Royal Baths one. Very nice building. But right on the bar, front and centre, it might be in every Wetherspoons, there is a big cardboard thing with lots of writing on it. So I was waiting for a drink at the bar and was like, oh, well, what's this? So I just, as you do when you're at the bar, if there's somebody to talk to, just read it. And basically, it was two news articles, which was run by the by the Daily Mail, I believe, and the Mirror. I think Mirror, Daily Mail. I think it was those two papers. It was about when they said that the guy that owns Wetherspoons, I can't remember his name, Tim something, had said, or allegedly said, about the fact that he said to people during lockdown, oh, get yourself off to Tesco's if you want. Anyway, they spun it a certain way, apparently the paper spun it a certain way, as if he was being non-caring and basically telling him to do one, his staff. But anyway, something has happened quite recently, back end of last year, early this year, and both papers printed an apology to him for basically telling porkies and having to then print what he actually said. That's the press for you. Anyway, so on that vein, I think we're gonna deal here. I think we're gonna deal. I can't see anything apart from the fact we don't know what his second option is, the second thing is, but can't see any immediate negatives to this at the moment. So, considering he's a powerful man, runs the press, we have a deal. And don't forget, he was part of the whole Tusk situation. They're in cahoots, you know. Maybe he could put a good word in, smooth things over. So we give old Lucian the eye. Lucian's like nodding. Peter's just... I don't know how Peter has got to his position as vice president, because the way that I am seeing Peter at the moment is like he's a bit of a like. How can I describe him? I mean, he's probably a very clever guy, but he just seems a bit like, it's almost like childlike at times, you know. Not the kind of guy you would ask your opinion of. You know, if you've got like Lucian here and him, we're not asking Peter, but he's the vice president. Here you go, yeah. Probably not the best man for the job, if we're being honest. He just strikes me as a character that is not the kind of guy that you would really want as a vice president. Is it just me? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's just from what is said and how he acts. Like a big kid at times, you know. Anyway, let's carry on. Happy to hear that, he says, as we basically utter the words. It's still painful to utter them, but we do say, deal. Deal. He's got a lot of contacts. That was one of his things. He's got a lot of contacts. He's a very personable kind of guy, you know, got a lot of contacts, that's great. But yeah, in terms of actually running the show, no, pal. You're a good second for contacts. Not a good second for advice, just for contacts. That's all you need to do. Put me in touch with people, keep people smooth. The party that's fracturing before our very eyes, keep everybody in one piece if you can. That's your job. That's all we're trusting you with. Marcel, Gus, Simon, all the other people will be our advisors. Anyway, he gives us his personal or a number that we can contact him on personally. It might not be his personal contact, but hey, we've got a hotline to Mr. Koronti. It's painful. I always feel like we're kind of battling this on almost like a Lone Ranger concept. No, we don't want to ally with any superpower. No, we don't want to deal with Walter Tusk. No, Koronti, no. You know, no to everybody. We will do things on our own. It don't work like that, does it? Come on. We need allies. In some camp, somewhere, somehow. As soon as you know that a story against you will break, please call me, and it will be taken care of. So we have to actually physically make the call if we get wind that something is going to hit the fan. That's awkward. I hope the game prompts us for that, because I might forget. Or if you guys might need to prompt me. Call Marcel, quickly. Call him now. I hope you will uphold your end of the bargain. Don't forget, we have said deal, but that doesn't mean that if whatever he says, that when he says don't meddle, down the line, that we couldn't break the deal. It probably would be horrifically catastrophic to do so. But, you know, just shake his hand. No talking, just, okay, as long as you do. Interesting. No, we'll shake. Gentlemen's shake. And I will make sure that my handshake is just as firm. The death grip handshake. You know, two alpha males shaking hands, and whose hand goes on top, and all this malarkey. Oh, of course he had to do it, didn't he? We were there wrestling around with our hands, and he had to finish it off by putting another hand on top of the other. Oh, that's the game we're playing. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. The old handshake mini-game. Exuding power. Right, well, you've put your second hand on that hand, so I've still got a spare hand. I'll put my second hand on your second hand. How about that? Give me the option, game. Give me the option. Oh, it didn't give me the option. Because I'd have done it. Damn it. Damn it. We will meet again, he says. Thank you for your time, Mr. Koronti. I have made a backroom, according to the achievement, I have made a backroom deal with Mr. Koronti. I've forgotten the word that it's used, to influence the media or something. So we are basically influencing them. We've got a media influence. Yeah, basically politically influenced papers. The papers are now politically aligned with the USP, essentially, which is exactly like the modern papers of the UK at the moment. Indeed. Burn them all, I say. The papers, that is. Not anything to do with the buildings or the people, of course, the papers. Just burn every last one of them. Who reads papers nowadays anyway? It's all on your phone and an internet screen. Right, it's actually 10:30. I can't believe the time has flown by this evening. I have really enjoyed this session, but I kind of feel like we should do one more turn. So we will. How about that? We'll go into overtime. So first of all, let's have a look at the screen here. Situations. Media bias. The media in Sordland is facing a significant challenge due to the organised interference from both the state and private organisations. This interference has been aimed at controlling the narrative and shaping public opinion in favour of specific agendas. Say hello to the media of any place nowadays. It's just the way it is. No surprise there. Oh look, and no news about it either. What a surprise. Mr. Koronti not going to print that one, eh? Backhand deal. In reclusive country club setting, as president and entourage shake hands. Of course not. Right, we've got one option here, a report. So, Casaro Kibbener demands emergency to be called to address the increasing political violence in the country. He has stated that without a declaration of emergency, Sordland would be destabilised and the integrity of the country would be damaged even further. Okay. All right. Okie-dokie. Should we? Are we going to get an option to declare a state of emergency? Now, we are going down to Berger here. This is our hometown, by the way. Remember, we're from Dare. The rural farmlands of Dare. Back home again we come. Oh, it's a funeral. What a lovely theme to end today's session on. Oh. We are attending the funeral. Of course we are. You're having a laugh. It's expected, surely. Well, that was a short turn. A very short turn. Just one more turn. How about that? Just one more. That wasn't a turn. Okay, this is the funeral. We were just deciding whether to go. We're going. Dark clouds were looming over Dare. They looked daunting as our convoy started approaching the century-old cemetery. It looked like it was going to rain, certainly fitting weather for a funeral. As expected, Bernard Circus's passing maintained its media traction, and all of Sordland was paying attention to the ceremony. I don't like this music. Sounds like something's going to happen. Especially to what I would say in my speech today. Speech time. Oh, it's speech time. Sir, we have arrived, says Sergei. Raindrops were running through my head. And down the car window too. Umbrella comes out. And as soon as I get out, Mr. President, Mr. President, flash, 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 flash. We've come to expect it nowadays. Not looking at, well, we are looking as prim as we can do, but it's raining. Get that umbrella, quick. Mess my hat up. Sergei? Take the day off, Sergei. I can hold my own umbrella. I'm a man of the people, and the people hold their own umbrellas, you know. Ah, as you wish, sir. He handed me the umbrella and started waiting next to the car with his own. Peter and Carl exited from their own cars in the convoy. They made their way over to me. Anton, says our very capable vice president, who we've just berated in the in the last meeting, in our head. Mr. President, I just wanted to inform you that the perimeter is clear and secured completely. There is no one getting in or out without our knowledge. Now, as the President right now in this whole situation, you must be absolutely cacking yourself about going here and doing this, because you could be shot at a moment's notice. I mean, I would be. I'd be flipping petrified. But it's a job. We got to do it. We got to be fearless. Setting examples. Good work, thank you, Carl. Good job the family stayed at home for this one. Yeah, can you imagine watching on national TV as your husband shot dead? Carl bows his head with respect. Good. If anything happens to Anton, you will have to answer to the First Lady. I thought you were going to say you're going to have to answer to me. No, you're going to have to answer to his wife. Pass the book, Peter. Go on, you pass it, pal. But I agree, actually. Nobody mess with my wife. Ooh. She's got a temper when she wants to. Trust me, Carl, you don't want that. Peter let out a laugh, which drew some attention from You see? Look at him. Look at him. He's laughing at a joke. It's a funeral, Peter. Flipping hell, man. What was I just saying about him? Like being a bloody kid. Blummy neck. Laughing and joking at a funeral. Peter. Peter. Lower the voice, please. Down a bit. Funeral. Low. Oh, in fact, sorry about that. Sorry. What a bloody goof. It continues to rain. Several unintelligible voices were heard from Carl's radio. He stepped out to reply and returned shortly. Oh, for God's sake. We have a small problem, sir. A few... 5 to be exact. Red Youth members are here to attend the funeral. They apparently said they wish to pay their respects to their fallen comrade. Should we let them in? In your honest opinion, Carl, do you think they pose a security threat? No, they were thoroughly searched. It looks like they really are here to attend the funeral. Now we can let them in. We're going to let them in. Or we can let them in with guards on them. But that might draw guards away from the perimeter. And they've been searched. Are you sure they've been thoroughly searched, Carl? Oh yes, very thoroughly, yeah. Very thoroughly. The thoroughest searches you can imagine. Let them in. Let them in. This is what I'm thinking. You know, we're part of the Red Youth. Hopefully they will see and know that fact. They've been searched. They've been frisked. It's the young swords that we've got to worry about, not the Red Youth. But the fact that the Red Youth are in here could mean that it draws attention from young swords elsewhere. That's the thing I'm thinking about. These guys aren't the problem. It's the young swords that might see them attending that might be the issue. Hence why putting guards on these guys is pointless if we need the guards to interject elsewhere. So we'll let them in, but remain vigilant, Carl, because if this goes wrong, your job's on the line. I've said it. And I'd say it in real life. I'd say, look, if something goes horribly wrong, Carl, it's your job, pal. I'm a nice president. I'm a reasonable president. But you cannot meddle and cannot be lax in security. No siree. As you command. Come on, let's go over. They're about to start. We walked towards the crowd circled around the grave. Everyone in attendance was wearing black, in mourning. The rain started pouring heavily. Did we wear black? No, of course not. We are never seen in public. We are never seen in public unless we're looking like that. Hat on, fedora hat on, all done up nicely, purple band, beard nicely trimmed, glasses on, the old purple, mauve, whatever you want to call the colour, suit and tie. We're never seen by the public unless we're looking like this, even at a funeral. I was in the car coming home from work today. No, it's Sunday. I was coming home from... Where was I coming home from? I was coming home from somewhere in the car. That might have been yesterday. But I was basically thinking to myself, for this playthrough, actually, I'm quite regretting now the fact that I didn't actually try to find a hat that's similar to that. Because it'd be quite cool. You know, this is quite a... I like this... I love this game. And I get right into the role of being the president, and I think it's not too late that I probably should find myself a hat, put my hat on, and go into president mode. Maybe I'll save that for the DLC when we become a king. I can dust off my Burger King crown over there. Anyway, whilst we're having thoughts about these little things, there's a funeral happening. Bernard's widow and daughter in the front row, staring at the coffin with a mixture of disbelief, confusion, and above all, a cold, unforgiving sadness. Both of their eyes very red, very swollen, clearly been crying. Before taking my place to observe the ceremony, I gave my condolences to Bernard's wife and his daughter, who looked at me. She reminded me of Dina. When the religious ceremony was done, I was invited by the priest to deliver my speech. I took the podium. I felt like I had a lump in my throat. I couldn't get the daughter's eyes out of my head. And we're probably having flashbacks now to other things that involve daughters, such as a 15-year-old being shot dead in the street while walking a dog, a girl being flattened by a tank. Flashing images. Snap ourselves out of it whilst we're gazing out among the congregation. Clearly it's a smallish gathering compared to giving an address to an entire nation, but nonetheless this is quite pivotal. Today we are mourning Bernard Circus, a father, a husband, and a loyal servant of this country. Towards the back of the crowd I spotted the members of the Red Youth, wearing red shirts and black bands of mourning on their arms. They seemed ruly and were respectfully bowing their heads. There was complete silence except for the sound of raindrops. I'm going to keep it simple. I don't want to bring politics into the man's funeral, to be honest with you. I don't want to do it. We could use it as a means to try to do, you know, but no, not now. This is a great loss for all of us. We will make sure that that these unfortunate events never happen again. I don't like promising this. I hate promises like this. But out of the other options, this is the only one that I like. Although this one's quite interesting. This is actually quite interesting. It's unified Sordland. Well, yeah. Unified in what manner, you might ask? But let's not go down. Unified is unified. Circus had a dream of a unified Sordland, as do we. In these next months, we need to fulfill his dream and band together. Let us all mourn the passing of Bernard and remember him well. The whole evil of this world thing turns me completely off this option. And I'm talking about paying prices, almost sounds like revenge. I'm a big fan of that either. So yeah, we'll just mourn the passing. We've given our little message of unification, unity. Just slipped it in subtly. Back to mourning now and the funeral and the man himself. We're just here for a funeral. And as a mark of respect, I thought it only right that I recite one of the poems that he has left behind for us. One of his many works that will hopefully endure after he has departed. Oh God, what have we let ourselves in for now? Our songs will be sung. Oh, it's quite a poignant message, isn't it? That's quite. Who is the they? They are afraid of the dawn of the new era. It does fit with our kind of vision. Okay, that's quite, yeah. These other two I'm not very keen on. They did not let us sing our songs. They are afraid of the dawn. They are afraid of hope. But our songs will be sung. And I now ask you all to join me in a moment of silence. And all that could be heard were the ravens. And then a ripple of applause broke out as some attendees started to clap. Others, wiping away tears, visibly moved. The coffin was lowered into the ground, and after a couple of minutes, Bernard's circus was with the soil. No more. Gone. As we bid farewell to Bernard, I want to close with the words that every sword lives by. Amogna Westcall. Victor, sister! Victory is close. With applauses, I stepped down from the podium. It was time to leave. The widow thanked me with a soft and defeated voice before we dispersed. On my way back to the car, I still couldn't get the eyes of Bernard's daughter nor the faltering voice of his wife out of my head. Would Dina, Monica and Frank look the same way if something happened to me? Peter put his hand on my shoulder. That was a good speech. I sensed only respect from his voice. Thank you, Peter. I mean it. Thank you. I know you do. Come on, it's time to go. We've got work to do. We've got songs to sing. He was right. We had work to do. So much more to do. I realised that the rain had stopped, and I looked up. The black clouds slowly dispersed, and sunbeams enlightened our surroundings. As someone once said, even the darkest night will end, and the sun will rise. Hope was still on the horizon. Bing. And there we go. We have unlocked a collectible, Circa's poet box or something, poem box. Right, and there you go. There you go. What a lovely way to end. I mean, it's a funeral, don't get me wrong, but I feel that we did everything that we could there as the leader of the country. We attended, we let the Red Youth in to pay their respects, and we delivered a speech focusing on the man and the day with a little subtle hint of a message in there about our futures. Banding together, unity. We will sing our songs regardless of the opposition we face. Got applause, and then we were powerful stuff. This Anton Rain fella, oh, I love him. Absolutely love him. I still think we're going to get shot dead. I really do. Either that or the country's going to go a rack and ruin. But he's doing everything from the heart. He's doing everything with the best of intentions, and he's doing it with integrity. And I sometimes feel that these kind of people are chewed up and spat out in politics. So it remains to be seen if that will happen to us. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Thanks for watching. I can't believe it's now 5 to 11. The sign of a truly good game is when you sit here and suddenly you look at the time and you think, where the hell has the past 3 hours gone? Where the hell has the past 3 hours gone? They have flown by. So, what Three Kingdoms update? What update do you want? There is no update. Three Kingdoms is coming after Alan Wake. Alan Wake has still got at least another third to go. I think we're about 2/3 of the way through the game. So yeah, Three Kingdoms is looking like back end of March, I would say. Back end of March. Maybe even the Easter weekend. 4-day weekend over the Easter weekend, end of March, first week of April. That could be a good time to start a new series, couldn't it? What do you reckon? But anyway, hope you've had a good week. Thanks for watching this, and hope that you have a good week ahead. It's that fateful day, Sunday night, isn't it? Monday comes around tomorrow, and it's like, oh, the start of a new working week. Oh, happy days. I know I've got a busy week at work this week as well. Lots of meetings and one-to-ones and stuff. It's going to be quite a long one for me, I think, this week. But anyway, go forth, enjoy the rest of your evenings, rest of your afternoons, wherever you are. And, of course, until next time, I'll see you soon. Mr. Rain, we'll see you soon.